Clickety clack. Well, that wasn't me doing the clicks and doing the clacks. This is Judge Mentalist, your co-host for another episode of Big Sexy Digital Nomad. Big Sexy and I have been in the same places for more than a week consecutive, which is weird, which is odd. It doesn't always happen, but I'm sure we'll mix that up relatively soon and see what's going on in everybody's world today. It's Big Sexy.
What's up? What's up? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whenever this is hitting your ear holes, I hope that it is good. You got some trips coming up soon? You got some trips coming your way?
Well, I mean, I'm going. So I've got a big party bus that's coming to my house this evening, and all of the regular sponsors for Elkton Magic are loading up on that, and we are going to a Philadelphia Flyers hockey game in. Actually, I don't know exactly what's going on here, but so I was years ago, pre-pandemic, I had a partial season ticket plan for the Flyers. Not particularly a Flyers fan as much as I am a hockey fan. And then since Vegas got their team, I've kind of followed them more than anything. In my opinion, hockey is one of the most exciting sports to watch live. And you don't need to know what's going on to be able to enjoy watching hockey live. And sometimes
guy with the stick hits a puck in a net or tries to hit a puck in a net. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. I mean, You know, a lot of people, like the first thing, anybody that's got like beef with hockey, one of the first things that they'll ask is, well, explain icing to me. I'm like, who cares? You know, can I explain it to you? Yeah. Would it still make any sense to you? Still no.
Probably not.
And
who cares? If you're spending your game and anytime icing is called, you're like, I don't get this game. What are they doing? I don't understand. Shut up. You're not going to hockey games to watch icing. You don't want an icing free game. You don't even know what that is.
You're socializing specifically, like I don't know exactly, and obviously I'll report back on this, but I get an email from and I'm always, anytime you buy even a ticket for a game somewhere that you haven't been before, welcome to the email list. You're gonna get all sorts of shit all the time.
You're getting stuff all the time about everything that place is doing, no matter what it is.
Exactly.
We got new potato chips in stock.
Anything, right?
Yeah.
Got a new potato chips, a new deal with this vendor. Hey, Disney on Ice is coming. Do you want a pre-sale for this concert? And sometimes those things are great because it's on your radar that something's coming that you may not have been aware of, and you want to get good tickets or good seats. That there can certainly be some benefits from it. So I think long and hard before unsubscribing to most of those. So I have not only 5-6 years ago had a partial season plan, but I also, 2 or 3 times over the years have sprung for one of the party suites. And usually it's something that I do as like a holiday party for my office or whatever.
Right.
And they're, honestly, it's relatively affordable when you break it down per person. Like when you look at it as oh, wow, you dropped that amount of money on a thing, it's certainly a larger number, several $1,000s, depending on what you have going on with it.
Right.
But when you break that down to the fact that a lot of times it's like broken across 20 tickets, it tends to be a good deal compared to trying to get that many tickets together at decent seats in the game. So I get this email, I want to say 2 or 3 months ago, and from somebody that works for the Flyers that's selling tickets or whatever. And they're like, hey, we've got this exciting offer for you. It's a suite up to 10 people.
Nice.
$800 and some dollars. I'm like, wait, what?
Well, that's
And this is suites with food as well as, I'm assuming, beer and wine. As
and
far as
$80 per person. That's a
like
deal.
$80 per person, exactly. So I'm like, sign me up.
Deal.
And it was definitely one of those, like, I'm going to say yes and figure out who's going.
Right.
So as I have a conversation with the ticket rep, as things start to unfold, and before I learned exactly the texture of this offer and this setup, of which until tonight I don't fully know what the layout's going to be. I'm just going to share with everybody right now what I know and what I understand and what I assume.
Right.
Is I was like, okay, 10, that's the perfect number, because I've got 4 companies in the area that sponsor each and every Elkton Magic show. Okay. 4.
Nice. Okay.
And each of the shows, there's always somebody that's like, hey, I want to sponsor this one, or I want to sponsor that one. I've got 4 that have sponsored basically every show or have eventually come on board to sponsor every show.
That's nice. 2 people per sponsor. That's awesome.
So those plus 2, I ended up getting them to give me 2 extra tickets, for which they charged me $80 or whatever it was per person. Ludicrous.
Nice.
So Bernardo, who's basically become, he's the other half of my Between Two Minds show, but he also is a big part of helping me run Elkton Magic. So, everybody, that crew plus 1, including myself. Line this thing up, put the offer out. Everybody's like, yeah, sounds good. Because again, to peel back, it's a Thursday. We're recording this on a Thursday, which is our normal recording day. The reason that a lot of my Elkton Magic shows are scheduled on Thursdays is because generally in this area, there's not a whole lot going on, which means I'm not competing with a whole lot.
Right.
So again, no
competition means hopefully more crowds for Between Two Minds.
Right. I just don't want to be splitting it and have somebody choose between my event and another one. It happens, but not as often. Doing it not on a Friday or Saturday.
Right.
So everybody's on board.
We all acknowledge that anybody who chooses any other event is absolutely making the wrong choice.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, different strokes for different folks, but yeah. I'd like to think that
I don't care how you stroke it. Go Between Two Minds. No matter which way you decide to stroke it, go Between Two Minds.
Absolutely. So yeah, everybody's on board. And I don't, at some point in time in this, I end up having a conversation with the ticket rep, and I learned that this is not set up in one of the private suites where, your 10 or 12 or 18 people or whatever it is are the only people in it. This is going to be some larger spread concourse type suite. They're inviting a whole bunch of other people that I'm assuming have purchased suites in the past or group tickets or something like that. And I'm sure that it's a big to-do to get people to buy more shit.
Right.
Now, all of the people who are included in my sponsor group are members of a business networking group. That's how they came to know me, how they came to know about Elkton Magic, how they jumped in to sponsor it. So normally you might look at that and be like, oh, well, now we have to split all this with all these other people. Right. I'm bringing a bunch of networking whores to a networking event, basically.
Right.
So it's actually an additional offer to add to the table. And then Bernardo's like, I should bring some strolling stuff and start walking through this area doing magic for, close-up magic for everybody, because you don't know who else is going to be there. We may end up booking some private gigs. I'm like, sounds like a great idea. I'll load up some stuff too. So we're going to do all of that.
And also never hesitate to take, some Big Sexy Digital Nomad stickers. And,
I will. We will be
sponsored for the podcast. That'd be even better.
I'll be hoard up all over the place.
Yeah.
Yes. So, that's coming, and that should be interesting. I got an email the other day, kind of one of those, okay, this is how you get the tickets, because everything's digital these days, and apparently it's special. They're not just feeding into a Ticketmaster account. You got to use a specific login link and all this other shit, which is fine. And they're given the instructions of, go in here or go into this entrance, come up on the elevator, and then look for one of these people. They're going to put wristbands on you. Apparently those wristbands are not only going to give us access to all of the bars, and I'm assuming unlimited beer and wine. They didn't say anything about anything else, but whatever. As well as, according to this email, 5 different buffets. So,
oh wow, Jesus,
5 different food spreads. I'm assuming 5 different, not just in 5 locations. Maybe
when is the game?
What's that?
When is the game?
What game?
Did this already happen, or it's
going tonight? I wasn't even focused on the hockey game.
I'm sorry. When is the event?
yeah.
When are the phase? Okay. I can't make it back that fast.
Through these windows over here, there's going to be a hockey game going on. So yeah.
Like what? Oh yeah, that there's some grown men out there throwing each other around on ice.
That's right.
That part.
We're going to a fight and a hockey game might break out. That's the saying.
You're going to a buffet and a fight on some ice might break out, and then in between that there might be some hockey.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean that's probably the closest thing. I mean, I have no actual flights planned until later this year for that Disney cruise, believe it or not.
Oh wow, really? Nothing between now and December. To be fair, it is damn near November.
Correct. So currently, no flights in October. Not October. No flights in November, and no flights in December until the very end of the month after Christmas for the cruise.
And you're flying down to the cruise as opposed to driving or?
Oh, absolutely.
I figured as much as you should.
Yeah.
It's I did the drive from North Carolina down to Florida. I couldn't imagine doing all the way from up in Maryland to Florida.
It's probably twice as far. It would be about 20 plus hours to drive.
Yeah. That's a trip on its own.
Yeah,
don't want to do that.
So
you excited for the cruise?
Yeah,
there's the wife excited for the cruise because now the wife knows. So
the wife knows, and she's getting into the whole. Like, she's a big Disney person. That's not to say that I'm not, but she's a little over the top. So she's already found social media groups. She's in some gift exchange things. All this other shenanigans that's involved.
Do you know? Is there that hide a ducky on Disney Cruise? Do they do that as well?
What is it?
Hide a duck. So find a duck, hide a duck. So there is a trend among cruise lines where people on cruise ship hide little rubber duckies someplace.
Yeah.
And then as you're on the cruise, if you find one, you keep them. But the goal is you find one, and then you bring a few on, and then you hide one for the next cruise.
I mean, I don't know about it on Disney, but I do know that the Carnival cruises that we went on not only had people hiding ducks, but I believe that the cruise line was also hiding ducks. And then there was also one of those claw machines in the arcade that was full of ducks.
Right. Well. And I think a lot of people get their ducks from the claw machine and they hide them in places and stuff like that. When I heard about it, I was because I used to collect rubber duckies, right? So when I heard about it, I'm like, what the? I had so many ducks I could have hidden and tried to find and didn't know about it until it was too late. Whatever, fuck you. But I'm excited for you, man. I'm, again, jealous. This will be your third cruise in a year.
Basically, yeah, because the very first one was December 5th through the 12th, maybe something like that. Early December. This one is the end of December. So it's
a little over a year, but I mean in the same month.
Yes. Less than 11 months. Yeah, it's within the same month. Yeah. So in a 12-month span, I will have gone on 3 cruises.
That's awesome. I just went on one long one in that time frame.
Which I keep saying anywhere I talk about it is 21 days, even though it was not.
That cracks me up every time I hear you say it. He was on a 21-day cruise. I was not gone for 21 days. I was only 15. Look, I'd be happy to take an extra week on a boat. I wouldn't miss that. I wouldn't mind that at all. I would love a 21-day cruise.
Oh, yeah.
If you could figure out a way to do that, that would be amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's and it's this one's a 5-day that we're going on because my kids are now at the time of recording because they just had birthdays earlier this month. They are
Happy
12
birthday,
and
children.
16.
Oh, happy birthday to the
Um,
children.
so this will be their first cruise, and so I think it's smart, and this is only coming from my head. This is not knowledge from anywhere else or whatever, but 3 and 5 day cruises are great for not only squeezing it into a schedule, but also for first time cruisers. I think you don't want to
Yes.
chance
Do a
somebody
small one.
hating it and
Right.
being on that 14, 15, and or 21-day cruise.
Well, I look. I remember I interviewed folks who that
That was their first
15-day
cruise.
transatlantic was their very first cruise ever, and I went, "That is awesome madness!"
I mean, some
Like,
people,
especially doing a transatlantic, because for 8 days, if you hate the cruise for 8 days of it, you're just at sea. You're not going nowhere.
right?
You're just gonna be hating life for at least the next 7, 2 to 8 days until we hit a
Right.
port, and then like, fuck this shit, I'm getting off. You know what I mean? And flying home. But man, but every person I talked to that did that loved it, was extremely happy, and can't wait to cruise again. So, and again, there's something to be said about cruising, man. It's an amazing thing.
I think there's a certain type of person that you automatically know that nothing can go wrong. And I don't mean that in the nothing can go wrong, but I'm talking about people that love roller coasters, bungee jumping, skydiving, that more extreme stuff. I think that they know that physically there's not something like that that's really going to bother them. So the
Right.
traditional things that might offset somebody that's got motion sickness or whatever, clearly that's a boat thing. Those people have already, it's almost like when I bring up volunteers in the hypnosis show, those people have self-identified themselves. They don't
Right.
know that they've self-identified themselves as good candidates, but by virtue of them standing up and voluntarily walking up on stage, they are halfway to where they need to be. I think
Right.
it's the same thing. If you're into those certain types of things and you don't have problems with them, you probably already know, whether you know or not, that this is going to be fine. And obviously I think it still takes some getting used to, because I think I fall into that category of who gives a shit, whatever, just let it ride. That
Right.
first one that I went on, whoo, that was an experience. There were some things where even the seasoned people, because that was, remember that first one,
It was
we didn't know what
rough.
the hell we were doing. We
Right.
got one of those big group tables, so it was us and a whole bunch of octogenarians.
Randos. Right.
Yeah, and but these were people that are cruising 2-3 times a year, et cetera, and they even to get that validation that this thing is sloshing all over the place from somebody that cruises
Right.
several times a year, okay, it's not just me.
Right.
And
I'm not the wuss here. Even people who've done this a bunch of times are having issues with it. So,
I wouldn't say that I had any issues. Like, I didn't get sick or whatnot, but boy, oh boy, there were times that I did not consume anything and felt like I was drunk or high.
yeah.
Like, it was just, it just threw you around in a way that you were in a different place physically.
Your equilibrium, you lose kind of control. You think you have control, and you just do not.
And you get off the boat and you could feel yourself moving, even though you're not, all that kind of stuff. It was just kind of, fun and wild. So what I'm trying to figure out is, and I think what I'm just going to end up doing is texting some of the guys that have performed at Elkton Magic before that do Disney cruises to say, hey, is there a way that I can find out, or more importantly, wink, wink, is there a way that you can find out which magician is going to be on my boat? Because that's what I want. Obviously all of the other cruise stuff is great. With Disney, I haven't been to it obviously because I haven't done a Disney cruise, but like most cruise lines, Disney has their own island.
Right.
I think it's called Castaway Cay, maybe. Our ship, yes, Castaway Cay. We have 2 port days at Disney's island. So I would imagine, like anything else that Disney does, it is such an elevated experience that's going to be great. We're going to, hold on, where else do we go? Bear with me. Nassau in the Bahamas.
Nice.
Yeah, Nassau.
I haven't been there yet. It's on the list.
2 Castaway Cay days and a sea day. And my trip crosses New Year's, so that'll be fun.
Oh, that'll be fun. Oh man, you're gonna experience fireworks on a boat. That's gonna be amazing.
Fireworks on a boat. Disney, not just fireworks on a boat.
Disney
fireworks on a boat. Let me tell you, you don't think of fireworks as technology, but boy, oh boy, in the world of Disney, they are. And you want to see what's coming soon in the world of fireworks, go to any Disney fireworks show, because whatever they're doing is ahead of the curve.
Is ahead of the curve, top notch, most money spent. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the good news, on my end, we do have some, if anybody listened to the last episode, it was Rant City. And which I want to hear more about your Vegas, because I don't think you got into it as deeply as you made it sound like you could get into it. But on my end, the issue with the airline who caused us issues in Europe has been resolved.
Positively?
Not as positively as it should have been, because there was some more shenanigans. Right after we recorded, the day we recorded, right after, we got an email. We got a charge on our credit card for the pet fee that we did not use.
Right.
They charged us.
Now, this is
for
just
service.
The pet fee
did not confirm.
First leg, correct?
For the second leg.
Oh, the bigger one.
For the first leg of the flight was the bigger one.
Okay.
That was through an airline that worked out just fine.
Okay.
The second leg, the hour from Madrid to Malaga, is the one we're talking about. We did not. We checked in, but they never confirmed that the pet was allowed on board, and so we did not take the dog on board. We found other methods to get to Malaga. And then they charged us for that service that we did not use.
Right.
That they never confirmed. And they did it. So we called, we're like, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing? Leave us alone. What are you doing? And they're like, it shows in our records, that you okayed it on the 20th. We flew out on the 18th. We haven't talked to you since the last conversation was the 17th. And the last conversation we had said you were confirming it within a few hours on the 17th, and we never heard nothing from you again. So I said it was resolved. It got resolved. They ended up giving us credit on any airline, anywhere we want to go.
How does that work? I mean, cha-ching, but like...
Well, I mean, credit for the amount that they charged us. They wouldn't give us a full refund. First they tried to just give us credit on their airline, and we're like, that's not happening, give us a refund. Then they're like, okay, we'll give you a credit, and you can use it on any airline, but then the email said it had to be and at this point in time we're just getting emails, we want everything in writing. It had to be on a long haul flight.
What does that mean?
So like a transatlantic.
Oh,
okay. The tickets are going to be massive anyway, so that's not really a savings.
Right.
We're like, no, give us a refund. And then they came back and said, okay, it can be any flight anywhere. You'll have a credit for that flight. Okay, that's fine. We can deal with that.
That conceptually it makes sense, but logistically it does not make sense how they're able to just be like, okay. I mean, is it kind of one of those?
It'll be a voucher. Here's a flight voucher. You know what I mean? And you just take
How
that.
Is that universal?
Voucher.
I mean, there's so many airlines.
I don't question it. I'm assuming that the airlines got some kind of deal with every other airline, since so many airlines partner with so many other airlines.
Yeah,
but the good news is the amount of the charge is good for the two of us to make a small trip somewhere in the continent. On a cheap flight somewhere. So
right.
We'll use it to do a little vacay. we'll have another Where in the World is Big Sexy moment and go someplace that we haven't been to yet.
I like it.
Yeah, so that resolved nicely. And then and it's funny, like I realized that, today as we're recording is Thursday, which means I have been back in Malaga for a week.
Yeah.
Over a week now. And that is blowing my mind. Because it feels like a couple of days. It felt like we got here just like a few days ago, but we got here over a week ago. And we keep talking about we're the number one time travel podcast.
Oh, I'm getting a spam call. Should I answer it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
Hello, my name's Hannah. I'm calling you from elder care. Can you hear me okay?
I'm sorry, what? I'm having trouble hearing you.
I'm reaching out to you as this is the annual enrollment period 2024, and you can qualify for increased grocery.
It's better when they're live people. I love fucking with live people.
Yeah,
when it's a robot, I'm just like,
it's not as much fun.
Can we get to a person? Because I love and like so many people try to call me in the myriad of spam calls. And I know it's like feeding a stray cat. Once you answer that phone, now they know, and your number goes on a different list of, hey, there's a live person here. Keep calling them.
They will answer. They will respond.
I like it when it's a person, and especially when they're trying to sell Medicare or something for old people, because then I just get into this like mode where I act like I'm hard of hearing, and I just want them to think that I'm their ideal candidate. And that in the mindset of most of these people, and if you're a telemarketer, I'm probably not talking about you specifically, but
we're talking about you specifically.
But I am. There is this mindset. Oh God, that reminds me of a summer job I had like a lifetime and a half ago. But there's this mindset, especially I think dealing with older people, where you're like, oh, I could just sell them anything. I could just push through. I'm going to get whatever. So I do what I can to make them feel like there's a live one on the line.
String them along.
I hate when they're robots, because when they're robots, there's no fun with a robot. Like AI is just going to ruin the world. But yeah, I totally forgot what you were talking about when that call came in.
Oh, I was talking about time travel.
Time travel, yes.
And how it seems like I'm moving through time at a faster rate here in Spain than anywhere else in the world, because it's already been a week and a day. And it's stupid. It's crazy. But the good news is that means I've already been to 2 wine whispers on Wednesdays. So I met a whole bunch of new folks. I got some new interviews coming, so listeners, stay tuned. We got a slew of bonus content in the works still. Patreons, get ready. Some big things are coming that way as well. We got things happening, and I want to give a shout out to again, thank you to Denny, who is one of the persons who put together the Wine Whispers, because he puts these group together, and then a bunch of people come out to the event, and then I get to meet a whole bunch of people. Like I met, this girl named Jules, who is German and very spiritual, and has this crazy business plan. I'm gonna get on the podcast. I met Tanya, who is from Mexico, who is a psychiatrist or psychologist, one of those two, and is working. Well, I think she's a psychiatrist because, oh wait, you need to talk to my wife, because my wife is a therapist and she does remote. And you guys both have kind of the same story and same thought process about, can what I'm looking outside my window be a beach? And you came to Malaga and are doing the same thing. So, we have to get her to meet the wife. I'm interviewing her soon. And all these other people. I met this girl named Alex, who is who's a wordsmith and a poet, and, does that kind of social marketing and stuff like that. So her and I are simpatico in that sense. So you and I need to sit down and chat and talk and, share words. I just keep meeting these awesome people here. And it's nonstop. It seems like every single week damn near every other day, I'm meeting new and amazing people who are in this group. And let me tell you something. When your name is Big Sexy,
yeah,
and that's your name, it is such an ego boost because of the disbelief and then acceptance, right? Because countless times I get, okay, what is your real name? And my response is always the same. It's Big Sexy. Come on. It's Big Sexy. And then I tell the story of Big Sexy and I explain the origin of Big Sexy and how if I answer the question, what is your real name, with anything else other than Big Sexy, I am saying to you and to the world that my name that I have chosen to call myself is a joke.
Right.
Right. Any other answer, okay, so then you also now acknowledge that your name isn't real. No, fucker, my name is real. Is it on my government paperwork? It will
not
be.
Yet.
Not yet.
Say not yet.
Not yet, but it will be. And then it's that look of respect, right? It's that look of, and I don't shy away from telling people what my government name is. If they ask that in that direction, what's your real name? Not going to get you the answer you're seeking. What you want to know is, what did my mother name me what did my parents name me when I was born? What's on my government paperwork? But then I always ask, why do you care what's on my government paperwork? You're not the government. You're not having me fill out official documents. If I tell you my name is boop, 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 I want you to call me boop, 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 boop. Call me what you call me. Shakespeare said a rose by other name was smelling sweet, even if it's not a rose. They call it a burger stand. It would still smell just like a rose if it was that flower. But a rose is a burger stand. And a burger stand can be a rose. Names are stupid. But names are just what we use to identify ourselves.
Right.
Speaking of names. Oh, go ahead. You had something.
So a couple questions, because you got the juices flowing, the gears are spinning now in my head.
All right.
How long will you absolutely 100% be for sure in Malaga?
90 days. Now 83 days.
Okay. So then next question. Where will you be in May? Early May.
If we are not in Malaga, January, February, March, April. Back in Malaga.
Okay. Because you'll have jumped out and then jumped
out and jumped back.
Either way, yes. Either way, regardless of the student visa status, etc., you plan to be in Malaga in early May.
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. Next question. Is Malaga or somewhere near there where there was one of those English-speaking performance venues?
Oh, yes. Oh, there's quite a few English-speaking performance venues here in Malaga.
Okay. This is like super production meeting level. So for anybody listening,
if we're doing that,
these are literally. This is not a preconceived conversation. This is not necessarily. Don't get super excited. Don't start booking plane tickets. What are the prospects of? Because I'm going to be in Egypt. And Brogan, if you're listening to this, it's okay to let everybody know that I'm in Egypt. This is announced now.
You heard the episode that she was like, "Oh, I don't know if I can say what he's doing."
Yeah.
Sidetrack. I'm gonna have a little issue with our friends over there at.
Hey, buddy, nice podcast.
Only because they keep forgetting to mention me, and I'm trying to feel some kind of.
Shout them out.
I shout them all the time. I
now control the buttons.
Well, here's the deal. The good news is I'm hoping to be a guest because I'm taking your advice and asking to book myself.
Yeah,
on there, so and I can take this gripe directly to them. And
I think that once you break that ice and get on the show, it changes.
Yeah,
because
and
obviously they know you.
To be fair, they do often, when I do cross their paths, they do make a mention of.
Right.
Like I was
All you're
on,
doing is crossing their paths.
I was on Wayne's Twitch feed one fine day, because he had a Twitch that wasn't at 3:00 in the morning. It was like,
Yes.
at 6 in the evening, I was able to hop on or whatever and check out and watch him do some drawing. And I always think that's not even going to be that as interesting as it turned out to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it is.
It is. It's kind of interesting to sit and watch, an artist create and draw.
And sometimes he does the ones where he's playing video games and just talking shit. It's twitch.tv/Wayne Gio, Gio. But there was a good stretch, and I know that we're getting off the topic, and I'll get back to it.
Right.
There was a good month and a half or so stretch where my availability and his seemingly random streaming time were in a perfect orbit. Almost every time that he would jump on there, I was able to jump on. And then I don't know what happened, but now it seems like, fuck, if he would be on an hour ago, it would have been great. If he would come on in an hour, it would be great. I shit you not, find myself sometimes in the earlier morning, because my day is one that my only sanity in the law office is in the earlier morning, except for on Mondays, which are always a shit show from the moment that the phone's, it starts ringing. It's no turning back. The afternoon is crazy, but the morning is when if I'm going to have any downtime, when I have it. I have even found myself being like, man, it'd be great if Wayne would just pop on and start streaming right now, because I could go for that. And of course, there was a time in that month and a half stretch where sometimes I'd think that and it would happen and it was great. And now we're just totally currently out of orbit. So the last time I was able to pop into one of Wayne's streams, I was literally only able to be in there for 10 or 15 minutes, but it's cool. It's fun. He's growing it. I think that while it does not jive with my schedule, he's certainly getting more consistent with being on, which is one of the keys. Our podcast grows because we drop an episode every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday and Saturday.
Hell or high water, we do. And obviously we're running out of the Saturday content, so that every Saturday isn't going to be a guarantee, but every Wednesday is.
I am hereby guaranteeing every Saturday will be something.
Okay.
We will drop some kind of bonus material every Saturday. The good news is, like I said, I'm out here doing these interviews, and I'm locking interviews in, so that, and I'm starting to build up the every Saturday getting bonus, and I'll start mixing in, people who can be on the podcast as our guest, and then people who are part of the Big Sexy Digital Nomad interview series. That's listeners, that is Big Sexy's promise to you.
And at some point in time, I'll probably end up jumping on one of those. So
yes,
all right.
But you were saying about.
So here's my crazy thought. I fly into Egypt, and I don't remember. I booked a flight, but I don't remember the itinerary. I believe May 11th.
Okay.
I'm wondering what the prospect would be. And again, there's so many moving parts. So nobody book flights, nobody make plans on this. This is literally pre-production meetings. Shit. If we could line up and Bernardo, the tricky thing is Bernardo's not doing the Egypt thing. So if we did this and did the Between Two Minds show, I got to fly Bernardo in and out of Malaga, which I don't care. It's probably fine. But wouldn't it be great to fly out there, do a show there on the 9th, and then fly to Egypt from Malaga or wherever?
That'd be amazing. Yes, and it's close. Malaga is close to Egypt. I mean, we're right across the water from Morocco. And
I think that you listeners probably remember me toying around with the prospect of, and I was looking for a cruise that might start in Europe and go to Egypt, and the shit might line up because I want it to jump the time zones and be there and adjust before getting into shit that mattered. I don't know how much any of that matters, although going in that direction is the worst way to do time zones, but it's enough of a jump that I don't know. Who knows? Who cares? We'll just do what we do. But I would love to do, I mean, I've always wanted to jump over there since doing this and do some sort of show in Europe. And the key would also to all of that, nope, that wouldn't be possible. We're not, I was going to say the timing of it would not work to get Brogan to fly down and see the show because Brogan's going to be in Vegas.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So any of the scoops that would potentially be like, oh, let me puddle jump over to
Spain,
to Malaga, are going to be jumping a pond, not a puddle,
right?
And heading to Scoopfest because that's that weekend or that's that time frame.
And it's been determined I will not be making it to Scoopfest either.
Yeah, same. The timing and the prospect of, I mean, it's bad enough going from U.S. East Coast into Egypt time. Right. I don't want to go U.S. West Coast to Egypt time, which is what I'd have.
I'm going to reach out, and this again, pre-production. You had no idea I was going to mention this. You had no idea I was going to say this, and I just had the thought as we're in the moment, having thoughts about stuff. I love in the moment thinking. Again, improv. That's what I do. I wonder if the guys would like do video messages from their podcast babies. You know what I mean? So if we recorded a video message to all the scoops and everything, I got together with, Hey Buddy Nice Podcast, got together with any other Who Scoops, right?
Yeah.
We all recorded like a thank you to ICS.
Oh, for sure.
I'm gonna contact folks and see if I can put that together.
So I would contact Brogan because Brogan's actually going to be there.
Yeah,
and Brogan is
if we have it on a hard drive, Brogan can deliver it.
And Brogan is a project oriented, deadline oriented person. I'm going to put this thing. I mean, think about the episode 1000 project and everything that had to be put together to make that work.
Yeah.
So giving Brogan the task of just reaching out to all these, child podcasts.
Yeah.
And
she would know them all. She's in contact with all of them. They're
collecting a video or message from them to put out to ICS and to the scoops. And the other X factor is if Brogan were to approach the guys and say, hey, I need 10, 12, 18, 25 minutes on stage in Scoopfest, no questions asked. I don't know. There's probably less than 5 people in that orbit that would get that. I need to do a thing, give me 20. Brogan's going to get a yes on that.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's definitely a potential.
Yeah, I'll chat with him about it when I'm a guest on when I'm a guest there at Oops.
And it's
hey
buddy, nice podcast.
That place.
Yeah, thanks, Pat.
I so I had accidentally highlighted the loop. And that was gonna loop if I did. So excuse the pause there. I might edit that pause out. Who knows? Why do it? Look, I'm talking about it, which means I'm for sure not going to do it.
Exactly.
If I did it, then I have to talk about not doing it, and I have to edit all this out as well. I'm not doing that either. So
imagine a radio edit. Because you're not going to be there, I'm not going to be there. I know Brogan will, but Wayne is not going to be there.
Right.
So there's definitely going to be, I know that they like to do the whole like trivia contest where people from other podcasts jump in and are part of that, or, they group some together depending on the size of them. And that's not going to fully be able to happen, at least with their pod and our pod and probably a few others this year.
Right.
And yeah. Because Scoopfest is always a fun time.
Yes. So that they were looking for a possibility of Well, I'll start looking for English speaking theaters, but I'll look for theater spaces here in Malaga and get you a list soon.
Cool. Yeah, let's. I wouldn't mind trying to make that happen, and I'll see Bernardo tonight because he's going on to the hockey game and see if is there a remote chance that works for you.
Cool deal.
So
awesome. All right. Well, it's time for. What? Oh yeah. Get funky. We got listener mail.
We do. So this is a person that is entered to win that whiskey barbecue ticket that I've got, which will be drawn at some arbitrary point in time for absolutely free. We've been sitting on this one for a while, so ML Kennedy, we apologize for it sitting here, but
thank you for your patience.
You know what? I will say that unlike a Scooperty that I submitted almost 2 years ago, this one was at least written this same month.
Right.
In which we're reading it. Not necessarily.
You're going to have to resubmit that Scooperty. That's gone.
Oh, I will, but I won't until it gets closer to the year anniversary so that I can send my little happy birthday, not to Jacob, not to Matt, not to Paul, but to this fucking Scooperty. That is almost word for word the email that I sent last year when I resent it the first time.
Careful, that's going to become a bit.
Jacob guaranteed me at the Knights hockey game back in April that it in fact was not a bit, which leads me to believe that now it is a bit. The acknowledgement and denial of a bit is a bit.
It becomes a bit. Yeah.
Yes. So
we say it's not a bit. Until now. Now it's a bit.
We've got a travel story here from ML Kennedy. Maybe it'll be at the bottom of this email, but I do know that ML Kennedy is a content creator of some sort, and I want to try to... Oh, here we go. Good. I knew it would be at the bottom. Season 2 of Going Over Our Freds, which is a podcast, starts soon. It's the nation's finest Fred Olin Ray movie podcast. So if you're looking for something else to plug into your ear holes, definitely check that out from ML Kennedy. I believe, doesn't ML Kennedy also write digital short stories that get released somewhere?
He might. I don't know.
I believe that's the case. If I'm wrong and I'm giving you credit for something that isn't you, then congratulations. And feel free, because we love to plug whatever our friends are doing to write back in with some more. This is the part where I start reading the email and not talking about the email.
Right.
Woo! You'd think I haven't been doing this for over a year, but hey, whatever. We're not at episode 80 yet.
We are not.
What is this, 58?
This is 58.
Yeah, at least I know the number.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which, I mean, we only got 22 left.
There's absolutely nothing about this email that makes me need to be dodging or avoiding starting to read it. But I just keep...
On a complete side note, before we get to the email about the episode 80, today I went to a store out here called Media Market.
Okay.
It's a giant. It's like the Best Buy of Spain, right? Except for they have like everything, like when Best Buy was at its prime, because Best Buy is dying now. Yeah. But when Best Buy was up at the prime, like you walk in, it's a giant store, right, of electronics, whatever. I am looking for, those little lapel mics, like the online Magic Pop mic is the brand that everybody talks about, whatever. And I want to get some of those for the interviews, for the Big Sexy Digital Nomad interviews, because logging this heavy ass Blue Yeti microphone around is terrible. I'm also going to look and get into one of the bigger, the recorders that you got, right? Or not that you got, but the Matt has, right? The digital recorder.
Either way, they're the same company. They're just different levels. By the way, I'm gonna apologize in advance. Mark, this is unread, and we're probably gonna end up giving him a second plug and doing it next week because this thing is cool, and Matt's the same. Just his is, I think, is an upgraded version of mine. You can it goes on the road.
Right.
It's battery powered, so you don't need to be on the internet. It plugs in with the XLR, like the normal stage microphone cables, and you put an SD card in it. So it records the tracks onto the SD card, 2 separate tracks, 3 separate tracks, 4 separate tracks, and all you're doing is you've got the little device, which is handheld. You got 2 mics on cables. You hand one to who you're talking to. You hold one yourself. Boom. Done. So the compactness that you need is this device, which again is handheld, 2 mics and the cables. Yeah. So it's not I mean, obviously you're spending probably $500 to get all of that stuff.
Right.
But as far as it being transportable,
the one that Matt has doesn't do the XLR cables. So
it doesn't.
So if you look on the top of it, it has 2 little chrome things crisscross like that. Those are your microphones.
Okay.
Right. So you hold that right up, and the microphones are doing this. Right.
Interesting.
So that it's picking up the person, and it's just recording. So you put it in between the 2 of you, set up, and it's picking up both conversations.
It must have the ability to hook in XLRs, because
I'm sure it does. Yeah. But that's to connect it to like a soundboard or whatever, recording whatever. The reason I want the lapel, the Magic Popper brand of that is because it plugs directly into your phone.
Right.
So all I need is my phone and those 2 little microphones. And then I can record directly onto the same kind of thing I did when I was doing on the cruise ship. Instead of having the big ass microphone, I can just have those 2 little lapel mics. But I want to get all that as well. But I
guess I should do interviews on that cruise, shouldn't I?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you meet travelers, you should definitely do an interview or 2 on that cruise.
All right, I got some extra planning to do. Yeah. I mean, I got plenty of time.
And sorry, ML Kenny, I don't think we're gonna have time to get to the
Hey, look, we get to say your name in 2 separate episodes, which is cool. So at least there's that.
So, shout out to ML Kennedy right now and all the things that you're doing. We appreciate you again paying attention.
And I promise that I'll do the proper research to give you the proper credit for everything you've done, and I'll probably throw in something extra that I give it credit for between now and next week. Right. But feel free to do that research for me and just shoot me another email that just details who you are, because we will plug you.
So this has been Almost Listener Mail. We almost got there. So close. It was there.
Only we had a sound drop for a train wreck.
Tangents. Yeah, well,
that reminds me of when I was doing the Air Quote Law podcast, where anybody asks us what our podcast was about. The company line, so to speak, was our goal is to get off topic and stay there.
Well, we are definitely keeping that tradition alive, because we get into tangents, and the tangents kind of take off into tangents. And you're pretty good. I'm trying to get better remembering where we were when we left off, because the way my brain works, it'll be gone. It'll just be gone. I have no idea where we were when we left off, and I don't remember. But now, if you guys see me looking at my phone and taking notes, it's so I remember where the hell we left off. I just jot down a little bullet point. So I go, okay.
See, it's so it's so weird. It's perfect to describe this. Like when I started performing just about 2 years ago, I was one of those types of people that was like, no, I don't want a script. I just want to go do the thing and be organic and flow with it. And over time and a lot of great tutelage and, some maturity, and I'm not giving myself too much credit for too much maturity here. Let's be real. I have learned that the importance of having a script so that you could deviate from it, so that you can return to it, is, I don't want to say that part of, being a professional, but it certainly makes a huge difference. But we certainly don't do that here, and it seems to work out. Right. So,
yeah, we make it work out as best as we can, and we do. Well, thank you guys for listening to Big Sexy Digital Nomad. Remember, you can follow us at all the socials at Big Sexy Nomad, pretty much everywhere. If you we have a list of supporters. We want to send out a big shout out to all our Patreon supporters. If you have that, we've reached a total. We're in double digits now on the Patreon supporters, which makes me very happy. Do you have that list there with you?
I do, actually. I have that list. I keep it at the handy because these people are super important. Not because of the money, because if anybody who doesn't know and hasn't gone to bullwithabutthole.com yet, we only have one tier. It's only $1. It is not about the money. It is just so that we can provide committed listeners with secret content.
Yes.
Because at $10 a month plus minus whatever fees Patreon is probably taking for doing this, Big Sexy not buying some palatial estate in Malaga.
Yeah.
But yeah, Billy from cruisehabit.com, and we'll be hearing more about him and maybe from him over the course of time, especially after I go on that cruise. Margaret White, the one who gave Big Sexy his government name. We got Smitty Scoop. We got Angel, Bree, Chris Lowry, who you just try to figure out. What is it? I'm not even going to try to screw up. Alpaca my bags. .vacations.com or whatever it is. Just send us a message or send a message into Patreon. Michael McKenna, Lee Popsicle, Sebastian Robbins, and Joshua Tarr. We wouldn't be doing this without you.
Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it. If you too want to be a subscriber and have us read your names and give you credit for things you may or may not have done, just simply go to bullwithabutthole.com. And there you can sign up to be a member of our Patreon. And listen, folks, while we are, building our subscribers and we say it's not about the money, just know that soon it will be. Soon we will start, creating tiers on there and level up to get it at the higher levels when we get a large enough subscribership to do so. We're not there yet.
And hey, I'm seeing something new in here that I'm going to have to investigate. And it may be something that we have to unlock. I don't know. But apparently Patreon has added a new tier called free members. So you may actually be able to go to our Patreon and sign up to be a free member of our Patreon, which we welcome. That will obligate us as people sign up for it to make some sort of a difference between the content that the folks that are paying us one whole doll hair are getting and not. But
I'll tell you this, what it definitely will get you is an entry into the contest to win a ticket to the Whiskey Barbecue for Scoopfest 2024, the Scoopabration.
Yeah, absolutely.
Break good times. Come on.
What it's going to do is it's going to have us end up creating some excuse for a higher tier, because if you're going to have two tiers, you might as well have three. It was cool when we just had one, but two's not cool. We need to go to three. Don't know when that's going to be. It's not something that we're driving toward. And we need to have some sort of benefit in mind before we do it. But hey, maybe there's another tier coming. And I don't mean one of those ridiculous, get us to do a show in Malaga type of tiers.
Although it's not a bad idea.
But it's not a bad idea. But if we go to 4, we have to go to 5. It needs to be an odd number, I think.
Yes, agreed. It has to be, yes, because we're odd. So it has to be odd.
That's the truth. That is the truth. So...
All right. Well, guys, thank you again. We appreciate y'all support. And in the meanwhile, safe travels.
Safe travels.